All right, here today we got Nicholas Allen, the founder, the guy behind all the work at Lesser Known Operators. Nick, welcome. I appreciate it.
Brother, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this is going to be good. I'm super excited. And I've kind of started these off lately with how we've connected, with people. Uh, and it might seem like a little redundant now over the last few of these, but it's because as you know, like you're growing really fast. Like you'll run into people and they'll be like, "Hey man, how did you get a hold of so and so?" Or how'd you even connect with these people? And it's crazy because there's like a simple Instagram message, right? Like or simple message just being out and people getting back to you and either liking what you're doing or just connecting and just trying to help. So that's how this came about. It was just a simple message and we got on a call and connected. We have a lot of mutual interests. So
Yeah, the page gives the illusion that the podcast and the Instagram are bigger than they are. I'm only 6 months old in this, and I'm checking all the folders 300 times a day and messaging people, responding to people, and that's really all I'm doing. So, yeah, a lot of these people that you see on Instagram or whatever, if you want to get a hold of them, just send them a message. They're probably very much more approachable than you think they are.
yeah. Yeah, no, because like they're regular people behind the scenes that are just staying up till midnight, becoming obsessed and grinding it out to try and grow something.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'll be up till midnight tonight making my release posts for the episode tomorrow. I wake up, I'm checking messages, I'm getting things ready for the next day. I'm at 3 episodes a week right now and just full all gas all the time, just trying to make content. But I'm trying to get 2 to 3 years of work done in 1 year. So that's really what I'm after. So and that's kind of what it takes. You just have to be obsessed. You really do.
So before we dive in, like I want to put that in perspective because I'm doing like we over here at the team, we're doing 2 episodes a month just because, time, right? Like trying to manage. You're doing three a week. Like how much time are you dedicating to just
15 hours an episode.
45 hours a week just in that content?
Yeah, it's about that. A lot of these programs make stuff for me, but I have to go back in and edit them, fix spelling, things like that. I use ChatGPT to summarize things and stuff like that. All of my posts and everything I feel like Instagram can tell if you're using AI pre-programming services. I think it can see all this stuff. In my mind, I feel like computers can sense when computers do stuff. So I try to make all of my stuff, it gets better engagement. Whether that's true or not, I believe it, so it matters to me. But yeah, whether from recording the episode, the pre, the record, the post, scheduling people, everything, it's about 15 hours per episode, and the episodes are 3 hours long. I'm putting Instagram posts per episode and then talking about them at night on my stories and things like that, everything. And then making what else? Yeah, there's probably something else I'm missing, but scheduling and everything is all just all into it. But it's one thing we do is if you leave white space, you're like, fuck, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So
Gotta
I
fill it.
feel like
Gotta
it's
fill it.
better. You do. It's better to be jam packed than to leave it open because, as I said, I'm trying to get all this work done. No presents in January 1st till now. We've got whatever following we have. And I want to increase my ability to speak on the fly at an exponential rate. So I do longer episodes and I record them as soon as I can sign people up. And I mean, could feasibly, if I get a couple things figured out, I'm going to go to an episode every other day, every 2 days. I'm going to go to a 3 hour episode every 2 days. But we're not there. We're not there yet. I got to get a couple other things figured out. And I have even said on my show, if it gets to the point where people are reaching out to me that want to come on the show, I will not say yes to any, or I will not say no to anyone in special operations. If you were in special operations, you can come on my show. I'll release a fucking episode every day if I have to. Like, I'm just having fun with it. So, and even when it stops being fun, I'm gonna keep trying to do it.
Yeah, no, because I think it's like super important, right? Like we were talking about it before we started. Like each story is going to be completely different, but it's somebody else that's going to be able to connect with that, which is just another network node that you may be able to help out and reach or reach back into your network to be able to help them out. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, it's a show for my guests, lesser known operators. Some well known people, but really, when you start thinking about it, what is there? 20 of them, maybe, that take up all the attention of everybody. There's thousands and thousands of really cool people that nobody have ever heard of. And there's 100 military centric podcasts that are at the top that people that are out there and only a few well-known names. Well, I just want to talk to everybody. Just like quite a few of my friends want to talk to everybody too. I do longer episodes. Some of them do shorter episodes. We've all got our thing with different goals in mind. When I look at it, there's no competition. I'm only working against me. I'm the only person that can hold the show back. It's how hard I want to work. Just the same with Denny over at Security Halt. The same with you. Like we all have different things, different audiences, different people that follow us. It's just how hard do you want to work for it?
Yeah, and Denny said this. I'm actually rocking his shirt right now there. Shout out to him. But Denny said something when we had talked a while back that really put a lot of things in perspective. And especially now as, I'm getting ready to close everything out, like in my career, is the team room is bigger on the outside. So when I heard that, and like I was thinking about like lesser known operators, a lot of guys that are in active duty, right? It's all about like the team room. It's always like, hey, this close knit group, or you're right, maybe we'll grow it out to the company, or maybe even like the group, but very rarely. But you get so fixated on that man, when he said that, I had to take a step back, and I was like, yeah, you're right, man. Like if you actually think about it, all the people you've come in contact with have gotten out. Like the team room really is bigger, and to what you're doing to be able to connect those stories of guys, or gals that came in, did service, and just left and kind of just did their thing. Those experiences they have are going to be completely different than somebody else who was there.
I mean, a lot of the stories at the surface repeat. There's pieces of everybody's story that repeats and things, but there's parts of everyone's story that's unique to them and it's special to them. And I think I'm not going to worry about everybody. Like that's too many people. My thing's special operations or special operations adjacent, and I'll worry about that, which is a tremendous amount of people that I'm never going to run out of guests. So I just want to have everybody in our section of the community, no matter like even if you're having like a bad time and you just feel down on yourself, like I want to tell my story and feel like somebody's listening. I'll have you on my show. Percent. That's something I want for our community. I want the show to be so fucking big that I can have that for other people, because some command team when I was in group did stuff for me that they didn't have to do. And I want to do that for other people to give them the opportunities that I got, or just make them feel good about themselves. Positive message all the way.
Dude, that's a perfect segue to talk about that. You want to go ahead and break the ice with right there. It's where you grew up and what everything was like, and then your time kind of coming in the Army.
All right, man. Yeah. I'm from fucking Nowhereville, Northern Illinois, Antioch, Illinois, in a cornfield just over the border. It's all houses now, but when I grew up, it was just fucking corn and soybeans. And our bus route was like 10 people on it. Like, I thought we lived in the sticks. We were close to the city, but man, you're out in the cornfields and shit. You don't have any friends that live nearby. So, yeah, just Nowhereville, Illinois. Grew up, nothing special. Good at sports, but got into construction when I was 12, I think. Started working construction. I was this tall, but I was just a skinny kid. So I started, what was that? It was in 2000. God, yeah. In year 2000, started doing that. Working summers. Then I started driving, working more. And then the housing market collapsed in 2008, and that kind of stopped after high school. So got into bartending in my hometown, and that is a destructive cycle for anybody living in your hometown, working at the bars, living with the people that you work with. It was just a 24/7 party all the time. Like the bar manager, the bar owner, and all the bartenders, we all lived in the same house, and it never stopped. Like 5 full days a week, 24 hours a day, we were going. And yeah, one day I had enough of that. I said, I'm going to join the United States military. So I walked right into the United States Marine recruiter's office. They said, nope, we've got tattoos. We can't take you. So I walked 1 foot over to the Army and I said, what do you got? And I took whatever they would give me because I failed that little dot test, colorblind thing or something like that. So I had to take whatever they would give me. And field artillery, which I don't think it exists anymore. 13 Papa, which is a fire direction systems specialist for multiple launch rocket systems. Wonderful.
So they came in, and then so you came to SIL, which
I can't.
can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, blank there for a second.
No, no, you're good. So recently I've been to Sill, where I think you started your career. Let me tell you, Lawton seems like a phenomenal city to be around.
Nope, nope, not at
Yeah,
all.
yeah. But where
So
where did you
yeah,
go right after you got done here?
I got basic AIT, and my punishment for finishing at the top of my class twice was to get stationed at Fort Sill. So yeah, I was maybe I don't know what I was planning. I got to basic training. I was disappointed with basic training, so much so to the point I even asked my drill sergeant. I said, "What the fuck is this?" And he goes, "That's just how it is now, man." And he said, "When you get to your unit, just go to the Special Forces briefing, go to selection, and get the fuck out of here." And so I got to my unit. The unit was just as disappointing. So we were in the field. I got out of the field, told my NCO I was going to the briefing. It was like a week after I got there, and signed up. Went to selection the first time. I hurt myself the first time, but I was at selection 90 days after I got to my unit.
Okay. How'd that pain? So did you were you a non were you a med drop when you got to SFAS?
Yeah, I couldn't bend my leg anymore during land nav. I just was dragging it, and I was trying, and I just couldn't get it to work. I twisted it or something, but there was like everybody makes fun of the army medicine, the VA and whatever, but the medical that they provide you while you're in is much worse than the VA ever could try to be. I got strep throat, and the army tried everything they could do to have that kill me. Strep throat turned into a staph infection, which turned in all over my face and in my throat and my neck. They just would not treat it. And they had my ex-wife convinced that I had syphilis or something like that. They're sending me to these clinics and just refused. And meanwhile, this is my train up to go to selection the first time. And they are really trying to kill me at the hospital there on Fort Sill. And finally, some doctor figured out what was wrong with me, treated it, and eventually got better. So I'd lost about a month of training 4 weeks before I went to selection. So that, in conjunction with I hurt my knee in selection, I got pulled. But that was the setback in the course. I came back to my unit and I trained even harder. I knew exactly what to do. I left no doubt when I went back the second time. I fucking killed it. But I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew the routes, I knew everything, how people work together, all the events, everything. Nothing changed when I went the second time, so it worked out for me. So,
How long was
yeah.
the gap in between when you got hurt and you went back the second time?
8 months. There was no summer class. I was going to go, so I went in September. I think September 1st I got there. I got there January 2nd the first time, and September 1st the second time.
Like, yeah.
Same year,
So
2012.
when you were successful at SFAS and you got back to SIL, how quick did you get out of here to PCS to brag?
No, it wasn't quick at all. Yeah, I had some family stuff going on at that time, coming into the new year, and I didn't know if you start winning soldier of the quarter, soldier of the month, a post soldier of the month, and all these things, all these boards, you have to keep competing. So I kept competing in them until I lost, which was like a week before I was set to PCS. Actually, all three of us that were in this Soldier of the Year board on Fort Sill were all on orders to PCS. I was going to brag. Another guy was going to somewhere else. He was very excited about it. The dude won, and he's got his orders fucking canceled. He had to go compete at the next level and shit. I heard about that shit. He was pissed. So, yeah, I lost by, I think I got second, and then I went on to brag to go to the Q course. So it worked out.
When did you get to brag for the Q course?
It had to be May or June, 2013, I think. Yeah.
So we were there right around the same time, which is funny. So what did you end up what did you end up getting? What was your MOS?
18 Charlie, man. I had that setback early, right? And I resolved I'm going to take the easiest route to getting the beret that I possibly can. So I've been in construction my whole life. I want to be a Charlie. And that's the path I took. And so SUT, you can say what you want about SUT. That was probably the hardest of all of the sections for me because I would come from Fort Sill, where I didn't even do my job as a field artilleryman, let alone learn any infantry tactics. But we went out there. I got my go the second night. I didn't have to brief an off order. I didn't have to run a patrol. I was on the B team sitting on the rocks back up on the hill watching the squad leader kill the entire team with the 240. I got my go and I didn't do shit the rest of SUT. So that was the hardest phase and it kind of was whatever for me. We got into the Charlie course and that was easy. That was fuck. I thought the Charlie course was the easiest phase of the whole course. So, but I was pretty confident in my abilities going in.
Dude, that's wild. I mean, that's good, right? It's typically like a mixed bag, but the feedback I've always gotten from guys that have gone or the Charlie course was harder than they thought it was going to be. But I think that's just because a lot of them that I know like didn't mentally prepare, right, to kind of go in there. They thought it was just going to be a breeze. But dude, that's awesome. You just crushed it. When did you?
Yeah, I was, but yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I say that about, because there were some guys in the early, like 2008, 2009, they got pulled from the Bravo and the Charlie course and shit to go be Deltas, and like all of them fucking failed. And you think about it, you're like, that's fucking mental preparation to the max right there. Of course they failed. They didn't want to fucking be there. And like, if I would have had to go do Delta, I don't even know if I could have prepared for that to be a Delta and passed. So, but I saw Charlie as I've got these skills and I was just confident with it and leaned into it and it worked out for me. But again, things just went my way on some of the things and we had a really solid core group of dudes, like 20 of us that fucking ran through the whole course together. And that was a big factor as well. We all looked out for each other. And that was a big thing too. So there's a lot of shit that goes into it. It's not like I stood out or any of this other shit. It's an individual event, the course is, but fucking that core group of us was a team effort because we all went through together. Nobody fell off.
And I mean, that makes a world of difference. And you bring up a good point for anybody listening that doesn't know. When you go through SOCM, the Special Operations Combat Medic course, it is no joke. Like I see guys now that have been on a team where we're at for a while that are like, hey man, I'll give it a whirl. And to me, it seems hard to conceptualize for me because I'm like, dude, if I was gonna do that, it's like Ranger School. I would have rather gone to SOCM early in my career or early, right, when I was fit and like fine, or just people are still fit, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like you're in that mentality, that school mode. I'm like, SOCM is a whole nother game. Like it's another level of memorization, and the amount of time in that course is just, dude, I mean, hats off to all those guys too,
Yeah. The amount of information they had to retain. And then there's levels to that shit too, right? Because some guys will just bury themselves in studies and pass. They'll meet the standard. And then there's dudes that kill it. They don't study. They just read it once. They get it. And like that's when you see there's a level between the top and passing in some of these courses where these guys, they're both Green Berets, but holy shit, what a fucking difference between the two, you know? And then you realize like this dude is special. Then you meet people, you're like, how the fuck are you that good at everything? And you're like, what am I doing here? Right?
Yeah, and I think I say this all the time is that going to work or being around guys who have gotten out, just like Denny says, right? The team room's bigger on the outside. It's like still when you connect with all these people, I still feel like I'm walking among giants because everybody has earned, right? Everybody has earned their spot. They've all gone through a certain level of training, and a lot of the personalities are just the same. They're type A, hungry people that'll just continue to push the envelope. And you don't get that everywhere. So it's always great when you get back around people. And I'm sure when you interview them, some of these guys that I get to interview, I feel the same way already. I'm like, okay,
I do. The multiple conversations that I have to have with myself while I'm talking to them does negate some of those thoughts of being like, do I belong talking to this person? But sometimes I will be interviewing somebody and I'll get lost in the story, and then you'll just watch back and see me go, fuck, I'm conducting the interview here. Shit. Tell me why you think that way. Or something like that, where I've completely lost the plot because I'm listening to the story. Like I had that when I was listening to Perry Blackburn, one of the horse soldiers, right? And I was like, this is so cool. I'm a fucking nobody in my basement in Wisconsin, and I get to talk to one of the original guys that went into Afghanistan fighting the Taliban with the Northern Alliance. And several times during that one, I'm like, holy fuck, how did I rig this up here, Nick? How did you get to this point? Yeah, there's definitely some fangirling going on in some of these things.
Oh, it is like you said, it's just it's incredible to be around. And even though you walk like among giants, like it's just crazy to think about, because every everybody is just they're so similar but so different. And I guess like the question I would ask now is, so seeing the plaque behind you after the Q course, you got to go to first group out of JBLM, right? When you showed up, because
Fuck yeah, man.
recent, recently out of GWAT, there's been a lot of really hard pipe hitters who came out of first group. When you got to group and got to the company or in processing battalion, did you kind of catch any of that, right? Any of that, just that feeling, or any of those people catch you?
So now we're in the saddest part of old Sergeant Ward's initial time in group, right? I got to group in January of 2015. Sat down with Sergeant Major. He goes, "Do you know how to swim?" I said, "Nope." He's like, "Great, you're going to the dive team." That was at the end of January. We went on our first training exercise in April, and I got 3 concussions in 24 hours. I remember almost nothing of 2015. Like very, very, very little. I don't even remember. I don't remember most of the people I was on a team with. I remember very few people from the company. And we all went to Korea in 2016 together. And I was attached to 3 of the teams and I worked closely with them. I remember some of those dudes, but names, things we did, a lot of different stuff, all gone. 2015 is almost entirely gone. So I don't really remember it. So I only got to be on an ODA for 10 weeks and I don't even remember any of it. So it's a bummer.
How did that shape you going forward after you got hurt and you got, as you were recovering, right? You got moved over to the B team.
Yeah, I got pulled, went to the B team. It was pretty clear that I was not going to go back to a team ever again, which is a shame. Physically, I could do it. Maybe not even physically, but some of these pains from all of these concussions I'd had over my life that hadn't been an issue until I got into the military when I started getting hit in the head every year consistently and pretty severely. And I say severely because it kept happening, not because each one of them was in itself a very serious injury. It was just regular getting either knocked out or hit really hard in the head consistently was is my problem. And to the point now it doesn't take much to give me this weird searing pain in my head if I get hit. How did it shape me? I got a lot stronger over time. I got pushed into strength. I just wanted to either consciously or subconsciously at least be an asset that way. I was very strong and I've continued that and I'm very, very strong now. And that's really kind of how it all left. Only option it left me after I got hurt. So is to go that health and fitness route. But I still drank a lot from 2016 until I quit last year. Yeah, last year. So self-medication is rampant at that point after those things because there's a lot to deal with.
So what
And yeah.
what happened from 2016 after you went to Korea until you started your transition out? Was it just you were focusing on, health and fitness and then just burying yourself in alcohol?
I was drinking a lot, partying a lot. So at 16, we get back in June. I went to do something at Walter Reed. It wasn't like a treatment. It was like an assessment to see what was wrong with me. They didn't find a whole lot. The reasons they gave me for the pains I was having wasn't anything earth-shattering, other than they said they might not be able to figure out what's wrong with me until I'm dead, which was kind of disheartening. But I came back, went from Charlie Company 3rd Battalion over to Charlie Company 2nd Battalion, went right back to Korea for 8 months and hung out there and continued more of the same thing. Just I was the senior Charlie now on the B team, and I did that job. Came back in June of 2017, and then went to 3rd Battalion staff as the taskings NCO over there. And that was I had kind of it was a boring job, but I liked it. I was still able to assist guys. I was working with all the Charlies in the company and still offering support, so I still felt useful. What really kind of where it all went away was I had a deal worked out with Sergeant Major to go take the LNO position at SOCOR in in Seoul, Korea. And I come into work one day and Sergeant Major was gone. And so was my deal. And we had a new command team and I got medically retired. And that was it. So yeah, that was the beginning of 2018 and went through the process. And the medical retirement process is pretty quick when your injuries are as disqualifying as mine were, I guess, and documented. All my shit was documented too. So it was pretty quick.
Yeah, that's huge. And I'm learning that now. And as I talk to people as they get injured, don't wait till the last minute, because you never know. Like you said, it doesn't take much now to aggravate something that's going on that if you don't get anything documented and you wait until the last minute, nothing guarantees that they're going to be able to help you later on in life.
Yeah. Yeah, there's things we'll do to stay on a team, but it wasn't, I don't know how to say it. Like, guys will hide stuff, they'll hide their injuries, especially in the Q course. Guys would hide injuries to stay in the Q course all the time. But there was no hiding what I had going on. And maybe I could have got back to Korea and maybe I could have hidden out there for a few more years. And then I would have gone to SWIC and then I would have been an instructor at SWIC. And then maybe I could have hid out somewhere else and I'd still be in. But that's no way to serve. It was over. And I realize that now. And I'm much better with it now. But I was not okay with it then or the last 6 years that I've been out, was not okay with it, but I'm good with it now.
So why were you not okay with it? What was the trigger that made it change?
To be okay with it or
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Like
not
what
be
was, I
okay
mean,
with it? What do you mean?
I can imagine what the struggle was like to come out and not be okay with it. But how did you work through that to get to a point where you were like, all right, man, like I'm okay with it now.
I quit drinking. I quit drinking in March of 2024. Yeah, middle of March 2024. So I'm 16 months sober now. And after that, I lost the job a good job that I really didn't fucking like. And after that happened, I kind of was like, I don't have to fucking go there anymore and listen to those people. And after that, this is a negative on society, but the hurricane happened in North Carolina. My phone rang, said, "Hey, we got work." I jumped in my truck, drove down there, and spent 2 months down there assisting North Carolina Emergency Management in Hickory, North Carolina. And that, like, I don't know, like lifted me up. Was like, okay, I'm doing something to help people. And I felt so good about it. And I was like, what else can I do? And while I was down there, I met this guy. His name's Rob Toombs. Shout out to Rob. He's got Mountain Readiness out there in North Carolina. And while we're there, like living in this old community college, he's doing his weekly podcast on Monday. And he's like, "You want to come on an episode?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And we just talked about shit, just his few listeners. And I kind of walked away. I was like, I need to be doing this. And so we finished up out down there. I came back, I think, for Thanksgiving, went through the holiday season, and I woke up January 1st or 2nd or something and said, I'm going to start a podcast today. I'm going to start an Instagram, YouTube, all of everything. And that's it. Like just this, but it all goes back to stopping drinking. Like I was trying to drink myself to death and maybe not even for the same reasons that it used to be. It had just driven me insane. Like you're just drinking all the time. It just becomes normal and your mind is thinking all these different things about what's wrong with life and why am I depressed and not going to the gym and all these other things. Yeah, done with that. Got back into the gym, hardcore back into the gym and started my own stuff and I do apply for jobs that I want to take. Like if a nonprofit job comes up, I will apply for it. I've got one to apply for here after I get off with you. But the real goal is to get this to where I can support myself, to where I don't have to fucking listen to anybody else ever again. I don't care as long as I keep my house and my truck and feed myself. I don't want to ever listen to anybody ever again. And all I want to do is help not only Green Berets, but everybody in special operations feel as fucking good as I do. Not by showing off or not by being a fucking douchebag. Like being a fucking good example. I used to be a piece of shit. I'm not now. Now I've got my shit together and let's get you in the right mindset for you to do the same. That's what I want to do now. And hopefully I can get there.
Uh, How did the name come about?
This one?
How did that name come about? Yeah, for lesser known operators.
That was the first thing I wrote down. Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah, it was the first thing I wrote down in my notebook. I looked at it, I went, yeah, that's it. Perfect. Yeah, I like that. And that was it. So I gave some little notes to my wife, and then she drew this up, and one of my buddies cut that out of some wood for me, and we were off to the races. Very little time spent on the on the name for the business.
I mean, that's perfectly okay then. I mean, you make a really good point there of just, hey, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. And that dream is out there. And we talked about it a little bit before, but like the name of Beyond the Trek is like, hey, your failures, your successes should not, and they won't define who you are, but what you do with the lessons learned and carry them forward, right? With that dark time is really what matters. So it is a huge freeing feeling to want to go work for yourself and say, hey, I want to give back because I learned a lot and I know somebody's going to be there, but I don't ever want to discount, and you've already alluded to it, the amount of hard work that it takes. And I love Cam Haines when he says must be nice, because I hear that all the time for people that have made it. They look at them and say, wow, it must be nice to run your own business. Must be nice to be able to take time off in the morning and go to the gym. And really what they don't understand, it goes back to what we talked about, is that we're just everyday people. We're putting in long days. I mean, you're putting in 45 hours a week just for 3 episodes. You have the same amount of time in the day that somebody else does who says it must be nice, and you're still going to the gym and finding time to get better.
Yeah. Well, what's the alternative, right? Fucking being unhappy. Work 40 hours a week, hour and a half in the car every day. Fucking hated it. I'm either at my desk or at the gym or on my phone 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day, and I'm having a blast talking to people, enhancing my network, meeting all these people, sharing their stories and all this other stuff. Yeah, I mean, nobody's ever said that to me, must be nice. But I mean, it kind of like it is to do this. Hopefully I can get it to the point where I support myself. I wish I was a little more business savvy to where I kind of had an angle on what I should be doing, but I feel like that'll come up. The universe will provide if I work hard enough at what I really want to do, and something will come up. I feel like something's going to come like that. And some people start these things and they get overnight success, right? Either they were famous before or they just, I mean, one post can change your fucking life. But if you're not fucking posting all the time, there's no chance of one post changing your life. Like, I made a post about a month ago and I got 1,200 followers off of that post. And I almost didn't put it up. And that's just a little me with my little following putting that up. And I increased my viewership or whatever by 20% off of one post. And that shit's out there. But if you're not consistently putting in the work, then there's no chance of it happening. It can happen. You can fucking win the lottery. But if you're not putting in the work to do that, then it's not going to happen. Majority of all success is just consistent effort over time. As cheesy as all these things sound, they all work, right?
Yeah, 100. I mean, 100%. They really do. One thing is, I like to highlight the soft community, because almost everybody is an entrepreneur, or because they were willing to take a bet on themselves and put themselves through something and go to an organization where they're just going to continue to push. That it's not just about not quitting, and you hear that a lot from people as well. If you just go here and you don't quit, you'll be fine. You're like, well, it's a lot more than that. And for people that listen that are in soft or want to go, that your skills that you learned, even down to the most mundane, basic level, being able to apply analytical thinking to targeted approaches can get you anywhere you want to go. I mean, you're literally living proof of that, of just, I'm still trying to figure out the business aspect, and I mean, as you continue to grow, you start getting people or messages that say, hey, we can help you, we can do this. So that's like part of the adventure. But I have realized to just embrace the skills that you learned, and being able to your job isn't just only overseas. You can take all those things you learned and apply them right here and be highly successful. You're a problem solver, You don't need many tools to be able to solve a lot of the problems that they send us on.
You can outwork your ineptitude a lot. If you don't, you just fucking outwork the pushing through and all that other shit, you can accomplish a lot of things. Now, you said the Q course, don't fucking quit. You can become a Green Beret by just not quitting. There were dudes that went through with me. They just didn't quit. They had that thing in them. They weren't particularly gifted in any area, and They just fucking dragged themselves through the course and they graduated. Now, I don't know how that works out in group. You get to your team, it might be a whole different story. I don't know. Everybody goes their separate ways, but they still did it. They still dragged themselves to do it when I don't think I was particularly excelled in any area. But it's just the way things go. You can fucking outwork a lot of things. That might not take you to the top, but it'll get you really fucking far. It will get you
Yeah.
really fucking far in life.
Yeah, and you don't have to go viral overnight. About it must have been a year and a half ago now, we got a call and had an opportunity to put in a bid essentially for to go do something with the Tampa Bay Bucks, right? And right out the gate, and this was like right out the gate, and I was like, oh man, okay, cool, and it didn't work out, which is perfectly fine. Looking back now, that I have learned so much in the last year that I would have everything handed to me real hard, like in a business aspect, because I'm still learning it like you. But the part of the problem is when people are listening and they're like, man, I wish I could go viral overnight. And the question becomes, well, if you do, are you able to handle the load? Are you able to outwork everything else that comes in there? Because if you don't have, it goes back to what you've learned, right? If you don't have systems in place, you don't know what you don't know. And you could be a lot worse off if you don't, if you're just not prepared or you don't have the mindset that ready to like take it on.
Yeah, and this is an extreme example, but people who win the lottery after they did this study, people who win the lottery versus people who become paraplegics, after 1 year, their level of happiness is the same. One goes from extreme happiness to an extreme sadness, and they meet in the middle at 1 year because they find that they didn't work for the successes and the things they had, and it didn't make them happy. They're yes, you don't have to worry about money again, but you feel like you didn't something you don't deserve, or for whatever reason like that. Yeah, but we're always learning. If something were to happen big, I'd figure it out. Would I do my best? I don't know. I feel like me now at this point in my life, possibly I would have the perspective and the maturity to handle something great being handed to me. And I'd say, yes, let me take this opportunity. Fucking Nick 10 years ago? Absolutely fucking not. No chance in hell. I would fucking ruin that chance, and I would squander that opportunity. So I'd like to think now, if somebody hands me a golden opportunity, that I'd be able to make the best of it. If you got one out there, hit me up. Let me know. We'll find out. We'll find out together.
Yeah, let's ride that ride. But is there any, along the journey that you've had in the last 6 months, has there been anything that's really just stood out to you and impacted you really hard that has either changed the trajectory or propelled you even more forward to want to keep going?
Every day is I go from I can take over the world to I'm a piece of shit 50 times a day. Like it's all the way up and all the way down all day long. It's one thing, and that's just self-doubt and like imposter syndrome, right? I shouldn't be talking about these things, or who am I to give people advice or leadership or talk about these things or write these pieces that I write and things like that. And you just doubt yourself. And then you get in the gym and you're all hyped up and you're like, I can take over the world and things like that. That cycle is very motivating and very depressing. And it's all day long. And that's one thing that's been a positive and a negative, but it's continuous. And I know it's there. So it doesn't bother me as much anymore. I'm just like, make content for me, put it out there, let the market decide. And the internet has no memory. Nobody's going to remember this shit. As soon as they click like and they scroll past it, it's gone. They're on to the next thing, And I'm just trying to grow this group of followers that really appreciate what I'm trying to do. The same as you are. You want people that like or will give you at least constructive criticism when you're fucking up and shit like that. That's what I want. And with the ultimate goal to help people. But what has changed things is the most, God, I'm so naive, man. I post stuff and I'm like, okay, it's just another post. And people will get in the comments and they'll be either vicious or outright shitty to some of the people, to where I've had to, I was like, okay, there's some things and some issues that I've had to take a personal stance on, which I didn't want the show to have that, but just the veracity with people veracity of people to be fucking douchebags in the comments for no reason. And those people have motivated me more than anybody else at times to stick to my positive message of I just want to be positive and be helpful to other people and things like that. So not to stoop down to some fucking troll on the internet's level and things like that. So I hope that makes sense. I kind of rambled there a little bit.
It does, and that can be part of the thing of going viral like super fast, is are you ready to handle all those other things that might come with it, and are you going to stick by what you believe in, which I think is super awesome. I mean, this has been over a year and a half journey for us, and for something that you believe in, right? And you see good feedback out of, which I call it, like, it's selfish, right? It's selfish how much you want to help people, because like the gratification, the feeling you get from it when they come to you and say, hey man, that really helped, or hey, I really appreciated this, is unmatched. Like, you can't even put a dollar amount on it. But it is funny to see, and I don't know if you've experienced this, you get clowned on for it, right? But then as it continues to go, those same people, either they're clowning because they're around a group of people that are clowning it, or when they get by themselves, they're like, hey man, I actually appreciate what you're doing.
Anybody who hates on you is a fucking loser. Period. Full stop. Successful people that want the best for other people don't hate on anybody else at any level. Gym, finance, business, anything. In podcast, anything. If you're out hating on people you don't know for no reason, you're a fucking loser. Period. I don't care how successful you are. And I just keep that in my mind when I think about it. These people aren't my fucking friends. My friends are the ones that have supported me from the beginning. They are the people that I want to prove right in their assessment of me. I need to make them proud, not live down to some piece of shit on the internet standard. I want to prove all the people that believe in me right in their assessment. Those are the people I owe it to, not them.
That's a phenomenal point there too. Do you have what are some of your big upcoming shows you got coming up?
We got Morgan Lorette coming out tomorrow. Guns, Girls, and Greed. Obviously, this won't post for a little bit. I don't know. Just like with you today, I look at my calendar and I go, "Oh, cool! I got that show tomorrow." But I haven't been looking. I've just been sending out links and seeing who signs up. I do have one on Saturday. I've rescheduled this quite a few times that I'm pretty excited about. Sticky Green Berets coming on Saturday. We're finally going to record an episode. So that one, I'm excited about that because we've canceled with each other so many times. And then recording with Denny again next week. I love recording with Denny. It's our tempo with each other is perfect. It's seamless when we speak because it seems like he knows what I'm thinking about and I know what he's thinking about. So, but that's just a fun practice with things and where we usually have this topic in mind that we want to get into. Where with a guest, that's different. But if you're with another podcaster, you can kind of talk about a subject differently, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
It's just a different kind of conversation.
It is, right? And I think that's one thing I'm trying to learn as you go along is some of them I have realized after they're done, I'm like, man, I kind of need a part two with that because there's so many things. I think we could pick a subject and just talk about it and expand upon it and pull that thread back and really get a lot out of it. And it's stuff that you don't realize, at least I don't, right? This is still so new to me. This is like 6 months that, having those conversations, you don't pull out. You get pulled into a story that's going on, like you said. And then before you know it, you're like, dude, I completely forgot those 3 questions that I wanted to ask 5 minutes ago,
No, you have to have a notepad. I haven't been using it for this one because it's your show, but I'm always making, because I forget. Like, man, what was that point I wanted to make 10 minutes ago? Well, I didn't write down the last 6. I'm not going to write it down now. And then it's gone. So I just make my notes as I'm going along and I come back to it. And just like, it's like the medics taught me in the, at Robin Sage, when they're giving their class, they're like, you got to keep it in the circle. And I've got it outlined here on this screen and it's a big circle. And I keep my guest in that circle. And if we skip out, I bring them right back and I circle them around of where I want the conversation to go. And that's how I try and stay organized in what I want to get done with the conversation with my guest.
I've actually never thought of that methodology outside of some military context. But that's a great way to go about actually interviewing people. Yeah.
It just worked for me. When I thought about how I want to do the thing, I was like, circle, I drew it out. I can send it to you actually, and you can just copy it. Like Denny says, just, if you see something that somebody else likes, just make it your version. I'll send this slide to you. You can see what you think of it.
Heck yeah.
So
Thanks, dude. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. One of the things I wanted to ask you too is where do you see you're only 6 months, what, 6 months into this journey? And we had talked about it. Where do you want to be at the end of the year? And where do you want to be next year?
we're shooting for the year. December 31st is the goal. I've said out loud I want 20,000 Instagram followers and YouTube to be at least monetized. That's the tougher one for me right now, but Instagram is the main effort to get people looking at the page. And then as that gets bigger, I can get into contact with bigger guests. And then it gives me, because it's this weird thing. The show is all about lesser known operators, but to me, everybody is lesser known to some extent. So there's more known, lesser known, and then there's completely unknown, lesser known operators. So this range of guests from completely unknown to a bigger following, I get a few from each level in there, and that helps me to get more followers from these guys and things like that. So Instagram, where I can get into contact with bigger people, which then in turn will attract lesser known people, and I can just keep recording episodes, and they're getting more signups. And man, putting out 3 episodes a week. If I can stick with that for the rest of the year, that'd be pretty fucking cool. That'll get me over 100 episodes this year. So
Yeah,
that's the goal. I want to put out over 100, and 54 comes out tomorrow. So we're on our way.
heck yeah. So I would encourage people that are listening, like the great thing you just said is there's lesser known and there are no known. Just because somebody has a big name doesn't mean you haven't heard of them yet. Like if you have a story, right, of your time serving in SOF and you want to be able to talk to somebody or connect with somebody else, dude, reach out to lesser known operators. I mean, you got back to me right away. You talk about how much you're on there getting back to people, and the journey is just completely awesome to be able to connect with these people. And where's all your podcast stuff at? It's on YouTube. Is it on Spotify and Apple?
Yeah, we're everything at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Chromecast, whatever Simplecast puts them out on. But Apple, Spotify, and YouTube are my main platforms right now. And then everything gets announced on Instagram. And what else? I think we finally got Facebook figured out, which was a whole fucking. I feel so stupid that I messed up Facebook for so long, but that's all figured out. Auto posts on there and things. So we're finally starting to grow on Facebook, Threads as well. We're on everything except TikTok, I believe. I have a handle for everything except TikTok, which I refuse.
Heck yeah. Well, dude, thanks. I know we're gonna keep this one short. I want to do a follow-up one, and I want to pick a subject that we can pull back the thread on and really just dive into, because there's so much that you can go into with people's service, especially in SOF. Like there's just so many things that people see from different angles and the opportunities that they get to have. And those stories, because I really like to name, like those stories are just so impactful, because even guys who serve and gals who serve in that community, like you said, it's still imposter syndrome. They may have gotten to go do some really awesome pipe hitting stuff, and they feel like, well, it's not as much as invading Afghanistan, or it's not as much as, X person got because they've been in groups so long. And I think your platform is an awesome place for them to be able to reach out and tell that story.
One of the cooler things, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, a good friend of mine from First Group messages me, and he goes, man, I walked into the team room today and they're talking about lesser known operators in there. I didn't bring you up. He's like, they were talking about the episode you just put out with Garrett. And I said, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, really? And I started looking at the numbers and stuff. Some of my episodes I put out with people with no following, no background, even no social media, are doing the best, because people are like, what happened to that guy? I want to know what he's up to. And like their friends miss them. And then they're reaching out and getting back in contact with them. That's the fucking cool part, man. And then messaging them afterwards, going, hey, man, I just want to let you know, like, you're a fucking legend. The one guy, my one buddy, I messaged him. I said, I want to let you know you're a legend in First Group. And he's like, how? I wasn't there that long. I was like, I'm just letting you know you are, man, from the response I'm getting from your episode. That's cool. Yeah. Even though we work even one team room over or one hallway over from somebody, we don't know that person. They had a completely different career and a completely different story, and it's probably really fucking cool. Like my story of my getting hurt story is still a story at group. Like nobody knows who Nick is, but they know about that guy who got hurt on the ocean in 2015. That story's still around, you know? Yeah. Story will outlast you many times over.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely why podcasts and things are getting so big now, because those stories are going to be able to be held on to, and people that have kids, and those stories that may not get told later on down around the dinner table, somebody's going to be able to reach back and find this and listen to it.
I hope so.
So, heck yeah. Well, thanks, Nick. Hey, I appreciate it. I look forward to getting in touch, and I look forward to running one of these again.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. Just send me a message.
All right, will do. Thanks, man.